Yo, Hegassen here, and here we go, my review of One Piece Manga Chapter 965, and it is called The Kozumi Clan's Plot, not called Oden Meets Roger. No, last chapter I thought we were going to get Oden meeting Roger for the first time. That's how the setup of the end of the last chapter looked like it was going to be. But no, it turns out to be mostly an Orochi chapter. The origins of Orochi. And it's not just the origins of Orochi, it's the origins of a whole bunch of other characters. We do get a little bit of Roger in this at the end, but it isn't the Roger Oden origin story that I was hoping for. But all of these other origin stories and all these other clues as to characters' past that we get in this chapter really make this chapter a really good one. Makes up for the fact that we didn't get that Roger Oden meeting. So let's start out with the Whitebeard crew and all of the revelations and all the origins that we get in the Whitebeard crew. The first one being we see the origin of the relationship between Oden and Toki. Yes, we see them, they're starting to flirt. Well, Toki is starting to flirt with Oden. Oden's a little bit clueless. He's another one of those classic my heart's in the adventure, I don't really understand what's going on characters. But they're starting their flirting. Everybody else on the ship can see that and they keep themselves to the side. And 2 years later, their relationship, it has blossomed into Momonosuke. Yes, Momonosuke is born on Whitebeard's ship. He is born on the Grand Line on Whitebeard's ship. That actually blew my mind a little bit. And then the fact that 2 years after that, Hiyori is born on Whitebeard's ship as well. Both of them born on the Grand Line out of Wano. I don't know why, I kind of thought that they would have been born and grew up in Wano originally, but thinking about it actually makes sense considering the fact that Momonosuke has said that he's met Roger. So that makes sense, but it does just kind of blow my mind that they were born on this ship. You know, Whitebeard always wanted a family, and he had the literal family growing up on his ship. So that was good to see. We see all of their little origin stories. We also get another origin to the crew of Whitebeard, and that is Blackbeard. Yes, we actually see when Blackbeard joins the crew, and he was an orphan back in the day. Who are his parents? Don't know. Could his dad still be a member of the Rocks Pirates? Could it be Rocks himself? Maybe, we just don't know. There's never any dialogue of Whitebeard kind of recognising Blackbeard or acknowledging that. We just see that Blackbeard is an orphan and he turns up and joins the ship. We see the origins of Whitebeard coming up with the idea for divisions. Everybody's all for it, apart from Oden. He's like, I don't know, I'm not really too keen on that. I don't want that responsibility. I just want to go adventuring. This could be the clue as to why Oden leaves Whitebeard's ship and goes and joins Roger later on. Because it looks like Roger, you know, he's going to be more of a guy who's up for adventure. So I think that's probably why Oden actually goes with Roger in the end. And in this division thing, we find out that Oden becomes the first second division commander, same as Ace, Roger's son. How about that? That's really cool. Good bit of legacy going down in the second division part of Whitebeard's crew. We also, later on, get the origin, well, not the origin, but we see when Marco gets his devil fruit. We know that Marco gets his devil fruit at least between the 3rd and 4th year of Oden's voyage on Whitebeard's ship, because we see him flying around in the Phoenix form, and he's still kind of got a little bit of a kind of a apprentice, rookie kind of vibe to him. He doesn't quite have that leadership that we know he has in the later part of the series. He's still very much just one of the crew. He's just having a laugh and playing about, still very immature. And during all of this, we also find out, although we don't find out the actual specifics of it, but we do find out that Oden also has a bounty. So I'm sure we're going to get that a little bit later on, and I'm wondering how high it is going to be. I imagine it is going to be up there. So a lot of good stuff with the Whitebeard crew. Do you like all of that stuff? If you do, drop me a like to let me know. So let's talk about what the actual chapter was about. Let's talk about Orochi, and we get Orochi's backstory in this. We find out why he wants to become shogun. We start off though, and he's poor. He's like he was when we first saw him in this Oden flashback. He's just a poor guy, but we find out that his name, Kurozumi Orochi, that name Kurozumi, actually relates to one of the biggest families in Wano, one of the daimyo families, and there was a possibility that his family could become the shogun, because back in the time when, before Orochi was born, there was this kind of power struggle going on in Wano. The Kozuki clan member who was leading at that time didn't have an heir, so that meant that the other families were kind of vying for power. The main person that was vying for power was Orochi's grandfather. He almost got the power. He was almost there, and then the Kozuki family had a child, had Oden's father, and it was found out that Orochi's grandfather was not only pushing to become the shogun, but was also playing dirty, killing off the other daimyo, was planning to seize power through very, very notorious methods by poisoning everybody. He got found out and he had to commit seppuku, and his whole family got punished, which includes Orochi, as to why Orochi was poor. And we see here this woman telling Orochi all about that, and telling Orochi that if Oden's father hadn't been born, Orochi would have been the person in charge. And we see Orochi fantasizing about that. We can see there is a big dream of his, and this woman is basically just laying on the plot for us and telling us what's going on. And this is where the motivation of Orochi starts going, because she is saying that, hey, I got a plan that will get you back to where you should be, because she's playing it as if you should be the shogun, you should be the heir. We don't know what this woman's motivations really are. We don't know if she is somehow related to Orochi. It's kind of hinted at a little bit in what Orochi says to her. He's like, are you a member of our clan? And she's like, no, you don't worry about me. We don't know if she's related to Kaido or anything in any way. We have no idea who this person is. There's some interesting stuff about her that we'll talk about in a second, but we don't know who she is. All we know is that she's putting the ideas in Orochi's head that he can become the shogun, and puts this plan in place to get Orochi to become the shogun. What is interesting about this woman is we find out that she's been out of Wano for a little bit. And while she's out of Wano, she gets Orochi's devil fruit, which we see is like a pineapple with loads of little bits coming off it that kind of look like a Yamato Orochi, kind of look like the dragon, the Hydra-like dragon that Orochi becomes. But we also find out that she, and presumably when she was out of Wano, also got a devil fruit. But it's a devil fruit that we know, the clone fruit. Who had that? It was Bon Clay. Good old Bon Clay. He isn't back in the story, but his devil fruit is. And that is very, very, very interesting, because that opens up a lot of questions. Obviously, it's not Bon Clay himself. It's not Mr. 2. So who, again, is this woman? And how does this woman potentially even relate to Bon Clay, relate to Mr. 2? These are the questions that we don't know, but there is a lot of good speculation in here. We see her use Bon Clay's fruit. And by the way, I love the fact that we are seeing a previous owner of a devil fruit. I've always been interested in finding out what happens before the main characters that we know have the devil fruits, because it's never really brought up. We've had Law's fruit mentioned about previous owners. We've never really had it with anyone else. We've seen Ace and Sabo share the same fruit. But, you know, what about everybody else? How comes no characters have ever been like, oh, Luffy, the Gumma know me. I remember that person that used to use it. I know some people have always speculated that maybe Roger had that fruit. But if Roger had that fruit, you would have thought that at least one person would have been like, oh, you can stretch your arms just like Roger. Nobody's ever brought up who had the Gumma no mi before Luffy. No one's ever mentioned any of the other fruits, the Yami no mi. Who had that fruit first? You know, Whitebeard's earthquake fruit. All of the zone fruits. Who ate Chopper's human fruit? Was it a human before? That would be interesting to know. I want to know more about this. And we're getting it finally here with the clone fruit. So back to this crazy old woman and her devil fruit. And how is she using it? Well, she's using it to help Orochi get into power. She uses it to pretend to be Oden, and does the first introduction between Orochi and Oden's father. And then later on she uses it to pretend to be Oden's father, to appoint Orochi to the position of basically acting shogun while Oden is gone. She's playing Oden's dad and is like, well, since Oden's not back and I'm not very well, we're going to need a new shogun. So let's have Orochi. He's been like a younger brother to Oden, which is all a lie created by them. And so she's used their fruit in that way, and presumably they have killed off Oden's father while Oden's been away. So using this devil fruit for very, very clever means. And then we see her walking off. We don't know what happens to her because we haven't seen her in the present. We don't even really know, like I said, who she is. Is it even a she? Is it a he? We don't know. All we know is that she must, or he must, be dead, because Bon Clay has that fruit now. So they must have left Wano at some point. Don't know where they went. Maybe if they were a member of the Beast Pirates, they went back to Kaido, then something happened. But how did Bon Clay, how did Mr. 2 get that fruit? Did somebody else get it and then they died and then Bon Clay got it? Or how they all related. I doubt that we're going to get that revelation in this flashback because we're not really following this character. We're probably only going to stick really with Oden now, and I imagine that it's just going to be Roger, then meeting Kaido, and the final bit, confrontation between Oden, Kaido, and Orochi. So that we're going to find out any more about this. Could be some cover page story stuff, probably SBS material or something like that, explaining what happened to her. But interesting stuff, and great to see an existing devil fruit that we know of being used again in the past. And I just mentioned Roger. Let's talk about Roger because he appears at the end of this chapter. We see Whitebeard's ship heading towards an island. All of the animals are running away. I love the way that Oda, I keep saying that, their names are so similar, and they're both absolute legends as well. I love the way Oda draws elephants. We see the elephant running in the jungle. I really like the way he draws elephants. But on that island, why are all the animals running away? That's because the Roger pirates are there. We see the Roger pirates there beating up a bunch of marines. And Goldie Roger says out loud, confirming again how strong these characters are, saying to this marine, if you're going to fight me, you better bring Garp or Sengoku. Otherwise, it's no match at all. Again, confirming how strong these characters are. And we see all of the Roger pirates there. We have Buggy. We have some fishermen that I don't know who that is. And we have Shanks. And we have Shanks sitting on a marine, eating some chocolate with not one, but two of Roger's hats on his head. That is great. He has the respect of Roger so much, he gets to wear two of his hats at once. And we have Roger as well, standing there, looking great. He's like Luffy, basically. He's kind of looking like Luffy, Ace. You know, he's got his chest out, but he's got a shirt on. He's looking ripped. He's looking excited. Really giving me those Luffy, Ace vibes. And he senses, or he sees that Whitebeard is on his way, and he declares that, alright, we've just beaten up the Marines, but if Whitebeard's here, let's have another little fight, because this could be the last time I see Whitebeard, which is interesting as well, because we know that at some point Roger and Whitebeard sat down, had some sake, and had a little chat. Could it be this island? It doesn't quite look like the same island. It's like a palm tree island, and where they were was like a cherry blossom island, but if Roger's saying that this was the last time that they're going to really see each other, when did that little conversation happen? They were talking about Willa D and stuff like that, so I doubt it is the last time they're really going to meet. Or is it? Could that be somewhere secret on this island? Or could they travel together for a little bit maybe? Who knows? Could they meet up after maybe Oden goes back to Wano? Don't know, but there's some very, very, again, interesting stuff. And a second tease of Oden meeting Roger. So we started this chapter expecting Oden meeting Roger, and we're ending this chapter again expecting Oden meeting Roger. But despite that, amazing chapter, so many great origin stories. Finally found out about Orochi. Wasn't really expecting that. Was expecting it in this flashback, but wasn't expecting it in this chapter, so that was nice. Good to see some other little stuff as well in here, such as the birth of Momonosuke and Hiyori. Seeing Marco get his devil fruit and just playing around, acting like a kid. Seeing Shanks wear two of Roger's hats. Good stuff. And that Bon Clay devil fruit, the clone fruit. Putting in some big questions about what on earth is going on and who this crazy woman is. And could we see any other devil fruits that we're familiar with during this flashback. So, good stuff. I'm going to give this an easy gold tier. Easy gold tier chapter. Only letdown was the fact that we had to wait 2 weeks expecting Oden to meet Roger. And we didn't get it. We still have to wait another week. Hopefully we only have to wait another week. Like I said earlier on, I think there's only going to be a few more chapters of this Oden flashback. Definitely expecting the Roger stuff. Then it's probably going to be going back to Wano and the Orochi and the Kaido stuff and Kaido arriving and how Kaido actually gets to Wano. Maybe, if we're lucky, get some Gecko Moria in there as well. Good stuff looking forward to. Big answers. Let's go next one. Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like. And if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!